Hey Lions News fan report faithful, fire up those engines and hit that like button if you've ever felt your heart pound the way mine does when our boys take the field. Because today we've got a saga that hits harder than a trench battle under the Detroit sun. Picture this. OTAs wind down, helmets come off, and suddenly there's one name echoing around Ford Field more desperately than any game-winning drive: Jake Fromm. Who is this pivot suddenly standing alone in the empty huddle? What led our beloved Lions brass to turn their backs on the man who seemed poised to carve out a future under center? Could this be the wake-up call Detroit needs to unearth its next hero? Or is this the final fate of a soldier who never found his groove? Since joining the Lions as a hopeful arm looking to outshine a crowded quarterback room, Fromm has faced every obstacle this league can throw: underdog status, playbook overload, and the brutal scrutiny of a fan base starving for a signal caller who can ignite a championship run. Yet here he stands, cut loose and scrambling to find a roster spot, fighting to keep his NFL dreams breathing under a weight that would crush lesser competitors. Remember those flashes, that late-season rally in 22 when he stood tall in the pocket, eyes burning like blue flames, rallying a ragtag unit to sniff victory? Or the OTAs when he led that slick red zone drill, threading needles with the poise of a veteran, moments that made you wonder if the next great Detroit quarterback was in the building. But mistakes crept in, timing broke down, and suddenly, Fromm became the odd man out in a quarterback derby that showed no mercy. Is it possible that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell saw something in those huddles, something raw but unpolished, and decided the risk was too steep? Could this daring decision signal a broader shift in Detroit's identity, betting on youth over experience, athleticism over savvy? Fans are whispering, was Fromm given a fair shot? Or did our front office lose faith before his true form could emerge? Some insiders believe that once another team sees his flick-of-the-wrist touch on deep outs and that fearless drive under pressure, Fromm's phone will light up with offers, maybe from a contender needing a reliable backup who can seamlessly step in if injury strikes, or even from a dark horse squad ready to roll the dice on his underdog story. What if this very cut ends up being Fromm's crucible, forging him into a quarterback reborn, hungrier than ever, fueled by the sting of rejection? Picture him landing on a squad desperate for quarterback insurance, learning under a seasoned starter, then seizing the day when opportunity knocks. Could this be the narrative arc that turns a dismissed Lion into the league's next great comeback kid? But for now, the silence around Jake Fromm is deafening. No more practice chatter, no more helmet clangs and drills, just the echo of possibility drifting into the Detroit night. And as the dust settles in Allen Park, one question rings louder than any stadium roar. What comes next for this once hopeful signal caller? Will Fromm rise from the ashes to write the most unforgettable chapter of his career, or will this abrupt departure mark the end of his NFL journey? Stay locked in, because the next twist in this saga could reshape not just one man's fate, but the very heartbeat of Lions Kingdom. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single snap of what happens next. If you believe the Lions are finally ready to roar after this shocking twist, hit that like button and let's finish what we started. Imagine Jake Fromm stepping into yet another locker room, his shoulders squared and eyes burning brighter than ever. This isn't just a roster change, it's a declaration that Detroit refuses to settle for mediocrity. Picture the uproar if a contender like the Eagles or the Cowboys scoops him up tomorrow, fueling their championship aspirations with the very quarterback Detroit cast aside. Fans in the Motor City would howl. How could we let this firebrand slip through our fingers? But what if the Lions doubled down, turning this moment into a masterstroke by trading for a veteran signal caller who learns under Detroit's new culture of accountability, while Fromm hones his craft elsewhere? Could this cut, this seeming setback, actually be the spark that ignites a revolution in how the Lions build their quarterback room, valuing resilience as much as arm talent? Statistically, Fromm posted a 68.4% completion rate in his rookie season with the Giants, And during his limited snaps last year, he averaged 7.2 yards per attempt, numbers that outshine several backups across the league and underscore why scouts still whisper about his upside. Recall the '95 season when Scott Mitchell led this franchise to a 10-win campaign, riding a wave of unbridled confidence. Perhaps Fromm can be the Scott Mitchell of this era, reborn on a new slate, galvanizing, a locker room starved for a leader. Contrast that with the heartbreak of the 2017 season, when Matthew Stafford missed 8 games to injury and the Lions tumbled to a 1-7 record without their fearless field general. If Fromm lands in Philadelphia and steps in seamlessly when Hurts needs a breather, we'll watch him orchestrate game-changing drives under the brightest lights, forever reminding Detroit how close we came to holding on to this underdog story. And let's not forget the fans who've endured 30 years without a Super Bowl appearance, chanting "Det row it" through the highs of Barry Sanders' heroics and the lows of narrow playoff exits. Bringing back a familiar face like Fromm, revitalized and unstoppable, could rewrite that narrative, offering a redemption arc to rival the greatest in sports lore. Some insiders hint that Fromm's work ethic in the film room, studying defenses, late into the night, has impressed coordinators around the league, suggesting that his best football is yet to come. Could this be the moment Detroit fans look back on as the tipping point, the year we pruned our roster not out of doubt but out of fierce belief that only the toughest survive? Envision Fromm's triumphant return to Ford Field, not as a forgotten afterthought but as the hero of a redemption tour, sparking a championship dream that's been simmering since '52. And even if he never dons Honolulu blue again, his journey will stand as a testament to what this franchise demands: unrelenting grit, unwavering faith, and the courage to embrace bold gambles. So, as the sun sets over Allen Park and the off-season winds whip through the practice fields, remember this: Detroit isn't just cutting players, we're forging a legacy. Will Fromm become the comeback king who haunts teams that once dismissed him, or will his departure cut deep enough to shape a new path for our beloved Lions? Only time will tell, but one thing's certain: this saga has only just begun, and you won't want to miss the next roar.